Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated again. Welcome back to Men of War Soul Squad 2. Today we're checking out the Battlefield mod, which is available on the workshop for everyone to download. The reason why I wanted to do a video featuring this mod is not only is it a great compilation mod, it also has the French in it. So I thought we'd do a 1940s German invasion of France. This should be quite interesting. Before we actually start the battle, we're going to take a look at the attackers and of course defenders. We've been looking at hundreds of German vehicles so far, perhaps not hundreds, but almost 100. There's gotta be at least. And all these vehicles and tanks and weapons and whatnot are early war assets, so it should be quite interesting. A lot of focus on infantry and some lighter weapons this time around. So here we have the French front line. There's an FT-17 back there, lots of artillery and infantry. There's going to be a lot of interesting French vehicles deployed. There's another one to the left there, which I can't exactly remember the name of. But there's also going to be the Char B1, the heavy French tank, which was very modern at its time, but yet unmodern too at the same time. The design and whatnot. Some Panhards back there, some gun trucks, French artillery on the hill back there, which is going to be vital for the Germans to knock out. More lighter tanks on the left there. There's going to be a lot of tanks today with like machine guns and guns below 40 millimeters on them, which was very apparent during the early stages of World War II before the tanks were really a major threat. Then tank destroyers started coming about and whatnot. But the Germans are going to have some pretty good cards up their sleeves. We're talking some Stug 3s that actually I think had the 75 millimeter gun on it, and some Panzer 3s as well. So that was some early war stuff that I have, at least, I mean, the research I have done proves that all of this is accurate. Hopefully, I haven't been fooled by some history page online. A little hard to keep an eye on when things were developed and whatnot. I thought I was going to give the German infantry... Oh, and by the way, here's the village we have to attack. Or not we, but the Germans have to seize. And here's the artillery here once more. When it comes to AT weapons for the infantry, I thought like, okay, Panzerschreck, no, that's 1943. I was like, okay, Panzerfaust, no, that's 1943 too. I was like, damn, or 42 or whatever. So none of that, which is quite interesting that there weren't any handheld AT weapons at this time. I'm sure there were like Pak 36s and whatnot, you know, Pak 38, probably judging by the name of the guns that they came out in those years. MG43s, plenty of K98s, mainly K98s, and some MP38s too. Lots of these half-tracks and lighter vehicles. We've got some Panzer IIs and Panzer IIIs, but when it comes to the Panzer IIIs and the Stug 3s here, it depends on if they're like the A, B, or C, or D, E, F, J variant. You know, they had these different models. Then some were developed later on, like the Stug 3. Is this the F or something, or the E? Well, I'm sure that like a later Stug 3G was developed later in like 1941 or 1942. I don't have an exact idea of that, but it obviously some variants came out a lot later. So we're trying to be as accurate as possible here with the units deployed, and as you can tell, there are just so many. There's got to be close to 100 German vehicles here deployed. This is going to be absolutely insane. And what we saw back here was the French positions. Their artillery hill back here with the infantry that looks very good actually, as a matter of fact. And here we've got the B1. Some other light French tanks here, medium tanks and whatnot. Nice variety, some mortars, lots of infantry. And this back here is the city that we need to break into. This is on the border near Germany. This could potentially also be up by Belgium, bordering Belgium. So very cool stuff indeed. I am super excited. This has made me want to play Hearts of Iron 3 again. But without further ado, I think it's about time we click start. And a little notice to everyone watching. This is going to be a massive battle. This is going to be insane. There's going to be so many explosions. It's going to be all over this place. It's going to feel like kind of like a total war battle gone Men of War, World War II, you name it. The sounds are interesting. They're not like super cool. They're like 1970s war movie sounds. A bridge too far kind of thing, you know, The Longest Day. Like, yeah, not sure I'd classify them as realistic gun sounds, but it sounds cool. The artillery is cool as well, and the explosions and graphics is beautiful. This mod, the Battlefield mod, is like a big compilation mod. A lot of HD textures. All the textures on the ground here look to be HD. The trees and the skybox itself is, I think, from Call to Arms. I think. So, without further ado, no controlling. 3, 2, 1. Let the invasion commence. Lighter vehicles spearheading the assault first. Oh, those explosions are wonderful. I love them. Gonna try and not move the camera around too much, and we're gonna have a few lower frames at the start of the battle, but it's gonna pick up very soon. Oh. Look at that Blitzkrieg. Beautiful. French are getting Blitzkrieg right now. And the positions back here are just preparing for the German attack. The French defenses get incrementally better and stronger as they progress further inland here, so the Germans are going to be facing some tougher resistance the more they progress. Look at that. Batteries firing. There's an armored spearhead here on the left side. This panzer group back here has not moved into the fight yet, but I'm sure they will be told to advance on the enemy positions as soon as they are given the sign. Look at that. You hear the explosions back there? It reminds me of an old war movie. Absolutely insane. Well, this is wonderful. Stunning. I love this. Wow. Oh, love the artillery firing away at the German positions too. This is stunning. Absolutely wonderful. And all the small arms fire too. It has a really nice sound. It's a little hard to pick up over all these explosions, but it's got this really nice, like, smattering sound. It's more clear when there's not so many explosions, but jeez. The left side just initiated the armored assault. Look at all those vehicles moving up. And the French positions here are going to be taking a lot of fire. And they already have, but they're still... Oh, do you hear that? I love that. It's like a distant firefight. The way it gives away like almost like a suppressed little bang. Very nice. Wow, there's still some serious fighting around the artillery hill back up here. Those French heavy tanks are still holding it down. You hear that? Wait. Oh, I love that. It's hard to tell because the gun sounds themselves kind of mask the detonations, but I think it's the bullet impacts that have this, like, almost like a firecracker sound, which is, it's just really cool. It's like a distant firefight. Jeez, man, this fight is insane. Mortars being fired. Oh, jeez. The advance is even continuing here on the far left flank of the German attack, which would be the right flank of the French defense. And they're starting to make their way to the village now on this railroad here. And the crossing that would be very grim for the defending Frenchmen, so they're going to do their best to hold it down. Infantry and armor and artillery will be doing their best to hold back the advancing Germans. Such a massive conflict, stretching throughout the entire front line here. But the French artillery hill is still holding. This is impressive. I am really digging this right now. Some long-range tank combat. It seems to be very indecisive. You have this firefight between the infantry back up here. It's just spreading throughout the map. But the French positions down here are still holding it down quite nicely. There's some long-range tank combat, but the Germans probably need to allocate more resources to this flank in order to break it down. Some German vehicles tried to advance across the hill here to get closer to the village itself. Wow. That's a Hotchkiss gun right there. That is making an awful lot of noise and visual effects as it fires. It's gotta be hard for the nearby infantry to return fire when that thing's shooting, but it seems to be doing quite well. Lots of Frenchmen in the trenches and sandbags there opening up. And there are guns and tanks here near the railroad that's ready to be the last line of defense if that is required of the Frenchmen here. German artillery is being brought up. Perhaps a little too close to the front lines, but if that's their taste in the Blitzkrieg, then by all means. And the armored assault is continuing here. French tanks are starting to take lots of heavy fire here. The positions are being pummeled right now. You hear the firecrackers in the background there. It sounds like it, but it's some serious gunplay back there between the French and Germans. Oh, look at that explosion. I'm loving this. This is really cool. German infantry is starting to secure the positions here, supported by some friendly armor. Lots of Frenchmen around here that are currently KIA. Oh. Three Stuks back here, providing some sort of battery fire there at the German position, the French positions. Looking really cool. I'm loving that. The city itself is just about to be attacked, but the German forces are stationed just outside of it. They've... Oof! Thunder. They've brought down most of the French positions surrounding the city itself. It's about time to advance on the heart of this fortified position. It's a lot more quiet now during the late hours than compared to the day itself, when most of the heavy fighting took place. I guess troops are currently being reorganized after 1 day of fighting, replenished with supplies and fuel so that they can continue the fight. Some units have been assigned and tasked with the objective of pre-assaulting the village before the bigger German attack that will be mounted on this city center. And right now the Frenchmen are not given any breathing room. And the positions are already being shelled by some German units who have preemptively commenced with the attack. German dive bombers are going to have a harder time at picking out the French targets here during the night. So the Germans will have to rely on the manpower on the ground and potentially artillery support to pin down the French positions. And it's a fight that stretches throughout the entire front line here. More French tanks and armor. And also AT guns have been brought up to hold the railroad here. It really marks the front line right now, where the French defenses are set up.